In this video, I'm going to answer some questions people have asked me with regards to the UK NMC's employer reference and their update about the English language requirements. So I made a video about 4 days ago, and after making that video, I had a lot of questions coming up from people. So I'm going to read them and then give answers to them. So if fortunately or unfortunately I couldn't answer your question, I'm going to do that now. So I have a question here from Suvalin. He or she says, do you mean overseas nurses that are still in their country and have made 0.5 can bring employer reference? So according to the UK NMC, the employer reference can be used by international nurses, overseas nurses already in the UK, and not those outside the UK. So that's the first thing. And then Christina says, hi Kobe, that would be means as long as you have employer reference and been here in the country and working in the hospital for more than 2 years now, you don't have to take English test. Is that right? So obviously I would say that used to be the general impression that the employer reference could have been a standalone evidence that you can communicate effectively in English, but from the new updates that the UK NMC has released, the employer reference can't be a standalone. You can use employer reference to supplement your IELTS or OET results, and you can use your employer reference to supplement your pre-registration program, which was probably conducted in a country that is not considered to be a majority English speaking country. So in this case, you have to provide two evidences, that is a transcript and then an employer reference. And beside all these criteria, you should have worked in a healthcare or social care setting for at least 1 year. And then this is coming from Angela. She says, please can someone from Nigeria use the employer reference? Not really. If you're a nurse or midwife currently in Africa or outside the UK, you can't use the employer reference. It's for people who are already in the UK. You see, there are some people in the UK who were nurses back in their home country, but when they got in here, they've assumed job roles like the senior carer, community support worker, personal assistant, healthcare assistant, and all those staffs in the health and social care setting. So the employer reference is for such people. And this is coming from Elizabeth Kuma. Hi, I had listening 7.5, reading 6.5, writing 6.5, speaking 7.5. Can I use it? I'm in the UK as a carer or as a caretaker. I host the IELTS on September 2022. So according to the new update, basically to be able to use an employer reference, you should have written the IELTS on 2 occasions or the OET on 2 occasions, and at least have made not more than 0.5 in the IELTS or have a grade in the OET. In this case, you can back it up with an employer reference. But from my understanding, if you have already written IELTS once or OET once and you couldn't meet up to the score the UK NMC is looking out for, you don't really qualify to use an employer reference even though you are based in the UK. Okay, so that's the general concept. I mean, according to the UK NMC, I'll leave the link to this information in the description box so that at least you can read that for yourself. And this is coming from Supriya. Does the manager encounter signature nurse be band 6 and 8? Because in nursing home, it's really hard to find this. It's really hard to find nurse with this band. So basically, if you qualify to use an employer reference, 2 people must be involved. The first one is a band 6 registered nurse, okay, and the second one is a band 8A nurse. Basically, according to the UK NMC, the band 6 can't probably sign or issue that on the NMC online, and then the band 8A should countersign. Okay, so that's basically their criteria.
However, if there is no NHS band 6 or NHS band 8A nurse in your facility, you can use somebody in the institution you are working whose qualification is equal to an NHS band 6 nurse or an NHS band 8A nurse or above.
And then this is coming from Charity. She says, can UK VI IELTS and standard IELTS be combined? Yeah, it can be combined, okay, provided you meet up to the criteria with which you have to combine results. And then this is coming from Urusua Erica. Please, can you use the employer reference even if one has not written IELTS at all? Yeah, so you can use the employer reference if you have not written IELTS. The employer reference is not a standalone evidence. What this means is that you can't just use only employer reference to prove your English language proficiency. According to the new updates that has come up from the UK NMC, there are 2 ways you can use an employer reference. First one is for you to have written IELTS on 2 occasions or OET on 2 occasions, and it's like you've missed the combining stage, and possibly if one of these tests you made not more than 0.5 in the IELTS or half a grade in the OET, then you can supplement your results with an employer reference. And then the second instance here is about using your pre-registration program as a nurse or midwife or as a nursing associate. So if you underwent this training in a country that is not considered to be a majority English-speaking country, then you can back it up with an employer reference. But your program should have been taught and examined in English, and at least half of your interactions should have been with patients, service users, patients' family, healthcare professionals, and out of these interactions, 1/3 of it should be in English. Basically, if you meet all these criteria, then you are good to go. I mean, the whole thing looks cumbersome, but yeah, that is why I see that the employer reference for now can't be 100% assurance that, I mean, you can effectively communicate in English. Okay, so the UK NMC is not only accepting employer reference. So if you can't provide the other supplement, or if you don't meet the other criteria, then the possibility that you are going to be approved will be low. And then this is coming from Angelina. She says, please, how long is someone supposed to be in the UK to be qualified to use the employer supporting statement as a proof of English proficiency? She should have been in the UK for at least 1 year and be working in the health or social care setting. And this is coming from Miriam. Thanks for the information. Please, does it mean the results below will be accepted? Listening 8, speaking 7.5, writing 6.5, reading 6.5. So probably how many times have you written the IELTS? Is it 1? Is it 2? If it's 2, then the first thing you have to do is to ask yourself, can you club these 2 results? If you can't, then you have to drift into using the employer reference. That is if you are based in the UK. And even to use that, you should make sure that at least you've not reached more than 0.5 in one of the models. And then this is coming from Kathleen. Has NMC UK started permitting resitting one module only? Not really. I mean, we are hoping that at the end of the day that implementation will come up, but nothing has been said. So for now, if you fail in one aspect of the IELTS, you have to write all of them. But I mean, it's not the UK NMC's responsibility to do this. Probably it should be done by the organizations that organize the IELTS, like British Council, IDP, and then the likes. And this is Ricky. Hi, I have 7 in every band except in speaking. Since we cannot apply 6.5 in speaking. So the question I'll ask is that, where are you based? Are you in the UK or outside the UK? And then secondly, how many times have you written the IELTS? Is it 1 or 2? Okay, so these are factors that needs to be looked into. And then this is coming from Pachi. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name. Is this only for people who are working in UK or English speaking country? Yeah, so if probably you're a nurse and you've recently practiced 1 year in a majority English speaking country, then you don't need any evidence or you don't need any proof of like employer reference or something. I mean, with that, you really qualify. It's an indication that you can communicate effectively in English. Okay, so this applies to people who are working in the UK, and not just working in the UK, but have worked for at least 1 year in a health or social care setting. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I can say for now. So these are the questions that have come up, and I decided to clear your doubts about it. If this video has been very helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like. Hope to see you in my next video.